Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about economy and economy of India. Uh, I'll be describe here some small definitions of that. What is the definition? What is the definition of economy? So first of all, it's comes from oikos study of household activity. The basic idea is to study the theory of choice under scarcity. Like what is the theory of choice under scarcity? So here are some kind of like providing resources for education. Important things are education, then health, then defense, then consumption. Okay, consumption, and then farm choice to produce commodities from different possible combination of inputs. So there will be some kind of input and output. This is the economic activities in general. So like there are resources available with an individual force or him or her to make a choice among its unlimited wants and choose the one prioritize the most. That is called the economy. All right. So, why economy is important as we described. Now, I'm giving one example. A 10-year-old boy goes to the market with 5 note. What the note? It's a 5 note, and the 10-year is the age of the boy in his pocket. With his money, he wishes to buy pencil, eraser, pen, chocolate, and candy. When he reaches the shop, he realizes that above mentioned items cost more than 5. Like he has only 5 rupees, but he wants to purchase the 4 items, but he do not have that much money in his pocket. Now he has to make a choice about what to buy and what not to buy. Study of these choices is what? Economics. Okay. So economics is a behavioral and social science. In large measure, it is study of people make choices. That is called the economics. In recent Swaraj budget, like government Delhi education was given the highest priority. Like in government, sometimes education, sometimes health, sometimes whatever kind of like maximum allocation in which sector, which is also important. And like priorities of the government is important. So here the transport was given highest priority in Delhi, and it's all choices we get through the newspaper why government is giving the priorities of that particular item. Okay, so the decision taken by the government, so there is some measures taken by like RBI is the bank of the bank. What is the RBI? RBI is the banker of the bank. RBI is the banker of the bank, and this RBI controls the inflation, deflation, money market. So that is the work of RBI in between. So the decision taken by government has an additional component attached to them apart from just the availability of resources, like welfare is the primary for the government wants always to do welfare. A decision or the choice made by government is not limited to maximizing the efficiency and output of the resources. That is the welfare, like maximizing the welfare, like how many people do have the water, electricity, fertilizer and seeds. That is the welfare in general. Now second is why should we study the economics? Because economic provide us the best method. What it provide? It provides the method. First it provide us the method, then allocation of the resources. Allocation of the resources. So where to allocate the resources, and it done basis of opportunity cost like 30,000 in another job, then we will take up the highest paying job. Like if doctor is earning 50,000 in a job and 30,000 in another job, then we will take up the highest paying job, and second highest paying payment become his opportunity cost. Like first one is, there's two costs. If first choice is called the problem of allocation of resources and second distribution of resources, it is done on the basis of opportunity cost. Like if a doctor is getting 15,000 rupees, then it will be his like his job cost. But if he is getting 30,000 another like form, then it will be its opportunity cost. Okay, economic can be a blogging also. Like most students taking economics for the first time are surprised. Why? Because they think like economics teaches the stock market, what to do with their money, and economics deal exclusively with problem like inflation and unemployment. So what is the first is the inflation. What is the inflation? Inflation is the rise in the price. Rise in the price is called the inflation. And second is the unemployment. Second is the unemployment. Two things are there. So okay, so other thing that economic deal exclusively with problem like inflation and unemployment. In fact, it deals with all these subject. Okay, every kind of things, like it's a larger puzzle. So distributive justice, social philosophy, and philosophers all are co-associated with it. Now microeconomy. What is the microeconomy? We are discussing about microeconomy. Microeconomy. Okay, so the microeconomy is the thing where we deal with functioning of the individual and industry or behavior of individual, economic decision making unit, business, firm, and household. Like individual behavior. What is the individual behavior? What is the individual behavior? And what is economic decision making units like business, firm, and household? What thinking the business firm, and what is the household is thinking over there? So these two are the microeconomic fundamentals. So how much to charge and what household choice about what and how much to buy help to explain why economic produce the things and all that. So microeconomics is can answer question like why does poverty exist. So poverty we can discuss in the microeconomics. Okay, and why do some jobs pay more than others, that is also. Now macroeconomy is the economy look at the economy as whole. It's instead of trying to understand what determine the output of a single firm or industry or the consumption pattern of single household or group household, macroeconomics examine the factor that determine national output and national product. What it determine? It determine the national product and national output and national output. So this is the like macroeconomic verse. Microeconomics looks at the individual unit, the household, the firm, and the industry. It seems examine the like tree of macroeconomics look at the whole. Like it sees the analyze the forest. Like if tree is analyzed by the microeconomic, then forest will be analyzed by the macroeconomics. Okay. So this book will mostly deal with area of macroeconomics, and keeping in mind like what I'm teaching you, my book of economics will teach you everything about the macroeconomics. Like classical economic. What is the classical economic? Okay, and what is the Keynesian economic? Keynesian economic. Classical economic, then Keynesian economic, and over here two school have developed and branched different section. Now we are discussing about like can the government influence the outcome of economic process, like government influence over economic process. Keynesian economic answer yes. Keynesian economics says yes, government also affects the economy. And classical economics also answer yes, classical also says yes, government also affect the economy. And no to the second question, like can the government influence the outcome of the economic process? Both says yes, government influence, but should the government influence the economic process? So Keynesian it says yes, that also influence the process, but classical theory said no, process does not be influenced by the economic in the government economic. So earlier and there was only the classical school of economic thought, they was not agree with the process. According to school, government should not interfere in economy, and if any distortion arise economy, then they get automatically resolved by force of demand and supply. Okay, so Great Depression was in 1929. that was in that period. So there was also like a deep depression, recession period was in and that at that time. So classical economic was the basic economy theory, followed the middle of 18th century. It was in the 1913 when the classical economic come. It believe in the no government interference in the economy, and what they believe in the laissez-faire. What they believe in? They believe in the laissez-faire. They believe in the laissez-faire policy. Okay, and and then came an argument like John Keynes, that the economy will not correct on its own, government would have to interfere. So Keynes was there, and Keynes says that government will always be interfere in the matters, and government will always be improve the path of recovery of the economics. So Keynesian school of thought was born, and Keynes referred to father of modern economics. That's why he known as the father of economics. Okay. Now next point is economic policy. So economic policy is the action taken by government to influence its economy are termed as economic policy. And India, the perfect example of economic policy planning. What is the economic policy? It is the planning. Okay. And 5-year plans, to make the 5-year plans. And now there is the different kind of body, like Niti Aayog is there, but before that there was a planning commission, so that's why. And industrialization, collaboration, and action taken by government that has influenced the economy in some way. Like influence is a word that may not do justice to what policy have done. They have defined Indian economy, developed the path of its future and growth. What they developed the path is future and the growth. Okay, what will be the economy, what will be its future, what will be its growth, this is completely economic policy. Now market force. What is the market force? So first of all, what is the market force? So market force, when monsoon fails in India, the prices of food rise throughout the country. If monsoon, like our prices are depends on the monsoon. If monsoon or is failed, then prices will rise. Okay, both will be the inverse relationship. So prices of hotel room, everything will be rise. Okay, during the summer holiday, children, the prices of air tickets will rise. What do all these events have in this common? They are all shows the working of demand and supply. What they shows? Demand and supply. So supply and demand are the two words economics are most often. They determine the quantity of each goods produced and the price of sold. If demand will improve, if demand is increasing, okay, that means prices are also increasing. Okay, but if supply is increasing, that means prices are decreasing. Okay, so this is the relationship of demand and supply. Okay, so they determine the quality of each good produced and price at which sold. If one wants to know how any event of policy will affect the economy, must think first about how it will affect supply and demand. That's very important. So Great Depression was a period of severe economic decline and collapse of business and stock market, and unemployment was in the large level. That was the period of 1929 to 1933. So that time the prices were rise up, and everything was destroyed, like industry were deployed, and supply demand mismanagement was at that period. So supply and demand determine prices in a market economy, and how prices in turn allocate of economic resources and all that. Okay, so now we are discussing about demand. So first of all, we are discussing about demand, and I'm showing you a graph that is the demand, like 0, 10, 20, 30, okay, 40, and this type the graph is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This graph is going. Here is the quantity, and here is the price. Like one ice cream costs 10 rupees, 2 costs 20, 3 costs 30. So this is the demand curve. This is the demand curve. Okay, so the quantity demands of any good is the amount of goods that buyer are willing and able to purchase. Like how many demands, like how many buyers wants to purchase. Many things determine the quantity demands of any good, but when analyzing how market works, one determined play a central role, the price of goods. Like price also play the central role. Like if I'm talking about the price of ice cream is 100 rupees, you would buy less ice cream. But it would be like if the price of ice cream is 10 rupees, so what I'm thinking of telling about, if the price is 100 rupees, you would purchase less, and if the price is 10 rupees, you will purchase more ice cream. Okay, so because the quantity demands fall as the price rise and rise as the price fall, we say that quantity demands is negatively related to the price. Like quantity, if quantity will increase, like price will be decrease. Okay, so quantity demands is negatively related to the price. This relationship between price and quantity demand is true for most of the goods, but it's so pervasive that economic call is the law of demand. So it is what it called law of demand. But some goods are there, like there's luxurious item. If there is the like more less in the quantity, the price will be the increase also. So some like exception is always other thing equal. When the price of a good rise, the quantity of the goods falls. Like if price is increasing, okay, then the quantity will fall, then the quantity will fall. Okay, and when the price fall, the quantity demand will rise, and if price is like not, then quantity will be more. So the downward sloping line relation, like what I showed in the downward sloping, the demand is called the demand curve. Now we are discussing market demand versus individual demand. Okay, so what is the market demand and what is the individual demand? The total demand for commodity by all the individual in a market is called the market demand. So what total quantity market is demanding? The total of market demand, total demand of market is called the market demand. And for this, like three people in a market and people in the market, and one demands 10 kg, second demands 20 kg, third demands 30 kg, then total demand will be 10 plus 20 plus 30, this will be 60 kg. Okay, so here is one people, second people and third people. Okay, and remember, market demand is not total demand for all the commodities. It is always for a single commodity by all in the market. So market demand is not for the total demand for all commodities, it's for the single commodity all the demands. Okay, and now we are discussing about shift in the demand curve. What shift we can see in the demand curve? So see this curve. So again there is 0, 10, 20 and 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the quantity and this is the price. Sorry. This is the quantity and this is the price. So this is the 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is 10 and 20 and 30 and 40. Okay, so how this is working? First, second and third. This one is the D3, this one is the D1 and this one is the D2. Okay, so here demand, here is the increase in the demand, and here is the decrease in the demand, here we are seeing like demand is increasing. Why that curve is like showing kind of this kind of structure? So here is the demand is increasing, here is the demand is decreasing. So as a result, demand curve needs not be stable over time. Any change that increase the quantity demand at every price shift the demand curve. Okay, so it called the increase in the demand. Any change that reduce the quantity demand at every price shift to the demand curve to the called as decrease in. Like if there is a shift in the increasing, then it will call the increase in the demand. If shift in the decreasing, then it will call the decrease in the demand. Okay, now income is, in order to understand the effect of increase or decrease in the income, is like it is called the like normal goods or inferior goods are there, that is called the income. Now normal goods, what is the normal goods? Like a good for which other thing equal, an increase in income leads to the increase in demand. Like if there is an increase in income, then the increase in demand. Okay, if income is increasing, then demand will increase, and then demand for ice cream will fall. And like if there is a income falls, then demand will also falls. Like if income is not there, if I'm like I have just 20 rupees, then how I will demand for 100 rupees? Can't do that. So it's a normal good, like increase in income, increase in demand, and shift towards the D1 to D3, like what I shown you. It's a D3, it's a D2, and it's a D1. So if my income will reduce, I will shift towards D3 to D1. If my income is increasing, then I will shift D1 to D3. So how this shifts happens? Okay, inferior good, a good for which other things equal, an increase in income leads to decrease in demand. Like my income is increasing, but my demand is decreasing. It is called the inferior good. Inferior good is the goods where the like our income is increasing, but our demand will be decreased. So these kind of goods are like bus ride. Okay, bus ride, like if my income will increase, I will purchase my car. I'm not going to go for the bus rides now. Okay, so that is kind of the thing. Now, price of related goods. In order to understand the effect of increase or decrease in price of related goods, we first need to distinguish between substitute and complements also. So substitute, two goods for which increase in the price of one leads to an increase in the demand of for other. Like what is the substitute demand? Substitute means like if one price for the one quantity is increasing, then like second will also increase. If there is a and B, two commodities, if first price is increasing, then second one will also automatically will increase, like demand will increase for second. So it is the I'm saying like if the ice cream price is like increasing, then the ice cream yogurt price will be rise. Okay, if ice cream price is rise, then ice cream yogurt price will be rise. Like how the process of the ice cream making the yogurt is required, so that will also rise. Like if the movie ticket and the video, like if the movie ticket is rising, then automatic the video ticket, like our like internet is also increasing. Like tea and coffee is the same. If the price of tea is increasing, then coffee price will automatic increase. So that kind of example. Now complement, these was the substitute. Now we are talking about the complement. Okay, complements are two goods for which an increase in price of one leads to the decrease of the demand of other. Like A is increasing the price, then B will reduce its demand. Like I'm giving the example of like increase, like if there is a petrol and car, so if there is a increase in petrol price, so the car buying will be decrease automatically. If computer and software, if a computer price will increase, then software price will decrease. So these kind of like relationship between the complements. Now test, like taste is also important. Like taste, the most obvious determinant of demand is the taste of an individual. Like if there is like someone wants to like purchase the ice cream, then his taste is according to that. The demand and curve shift according to that. Expectation is also there. Like demand curve depends on the expectation, like future expectations and all that. And next is number of buyers. Like if there is a number of buyers are more in the market, then demand will automatically will increase. Like if Amit is joining the Neha and Sahil, all three are there, so quantity or demand of market will be increase, so price will automatically be increasing. Now exception to the law of demand. So giffen good. So what is the good? That is the giffen good. Giffen goods are the some goods which are the exceptions, goods that do not comply with law of demand. It is a good for which demand increase as the price increase. So if demand is increasing, then price will also increase. It will never be reversed. Okay, now both are increasing. If demand is increasing, then price will increase. So what is the this is the fundamental law of demand. It is contrary to the fundamental law of demand. That's why like the quantity demanded for a product falls as the price increase, so resulting in the downward slope of the demand curve. A given good is typically an inferior product that does not have easily available substitute, because they do not have the available substitute. That's why this happened with them. Now the input price. What is the input price? So now we are discussing about the input price. Input price is what? Input price. Okay. So input price to produce its output of ice cream. Like seller use various input creams like sugar, flavoring ice cream machine to building in which the ice cream is made, and the labor of worker to mix the ingredient and operate the machine. So everything is called the input price. Okay. If input price rise substantially, the firm might shut down and supply no ice cream. Like if there is a more increase in input price, the firms can be shut down because they are now in a trouble. Okay, the supply of good is negatively related to the price of input used. Okay, so supply is negatively. Supply decrease, then input price will increase. If supply input price will increase, then supply automatically will be decrease. Now next is technology. So technology is like if technology is increasing, then price will decrease automatically. Okay, so it is the relationship between the technology and the price. Now expectations. The amount of ice cream a firm supply today may depend on its expectation of future also. Like they will expecting like in future the storage and supply in the to the market, what kind of supply required, what kind of like storage required in future, that is also important. Number of sellers, like how many sellers are in market, and what is the price of input they using there, and available technology and expectation, all of that. Now we are discussing about the like demand and supply equilibrium. This is the curve. Now we are discussing about equilibrium. This is the demand supply equilibrium. So you can see in this curve, this is the supply side and this is the demand side. Okay, and this point is the equilibrium. This point is the equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium in quantity, what is in quantity will be in the price. Okay, so there is a quantity equilibrium, then there will be a price equilibrium. So equilibrium in economics take place when there is stability. So what this condition? This is the condition of the stability. Okay, so it takes place at the point where demand and supply intersect each other. If both are intersecting to each other, the price at which it takes place is called equilibrium price. It is equilibrium because at this price the willingness to sell of suppliers matches willingness to buy a demander. Okay, so what I told you, this is the equilibrium. Okay, now next one is like we are showing here is the price. Okay, and there is a quantity, and this is a curve. So this is the supply and this is the demand. This is supply and demand, and if there is a surplus, or this is a surplus. Okay, so this part is called surplus in the demand and supply. So there is surplus of the goods, supplier are unable to sell all they want at the going price. If they are not selling their like required quantity in the market, then goods will be in the surplus. This situation of excess supply, like now supply will be excess, and they respond to the surplus by cutting their prices. Now they will cut the prices. If the supply will be increased, now they will cut the prices of the goods. Okay, and increase the quantity demands and decrease the quantity supplied, and price continue to fall, and then price will continue to fall in the market. Now in the second point, I'm discussing about, again this is the price, and this is the like quantity. Okay, and this is the supply and this is the demand, and this is the equilibrium, and this point is what called storage. Okay, this point is storage. So there is a shortage of good, demanders are unable to buy all they want at the good price. Like if there is a shortage of good, then what demander are wanted, they will unable to buy the goods. A shortage is something called a situation of excess demand. If there is a shortage of good, that means there is a demand is in access. Okay, and with too many buyers chasing too few goods, and seller can respond to the shortage by raising their prices. Now prices will be rise. Okay, because now demand is not in market, like more demand is in market, and there is shortage of quantity, then prices will rise automatically, and the quantity supplier rise, and the market once again moves towards the equilibrium. So again this point will become at the equilibrium of the market, and the activity of many buyer and seller automatically push the market price towards the equilibrium price, what is so called. Now elasticity of demand, next point is the elasticity of demand. Okay, elasticity of demand is the percentage change in the quantity of demand divided by percentage change in the price. Elasticity is of demand of what? It is called the percentage of change in quantity divided by percentage change into the price. This is called the elasticity of the demand. The price elasticity of demand measure how much quantity demanded respond to the change in the price, like how much change in the price in respect to the quantity. The price elasticity of the demand is always negative, as price and quantity moves in the opposite direction. Okay, if there will be price will be increase, the quantity will be decrease, that means there is the more demand in the market. Okay, and demand is said to be the inelastic if the quantity demanded respond only slightly to change in the price. So how willing consumer are to move away from the good as its price rise. Like if there is a rise in price, if I'm talking about, like if there is a rise in price, then like customer will move to the decrease in demand. So increase in demand, if there is a rise in the price, the demand automatically will be the increase. So psychological force works, economic force work, social force also works over the consumer's taste based on experience. Like however we can state some general rules about what determine the price elasticity, like what is the change in the quantity and what is the change in the price is what called it's called the elasticity of the demand. Okay, availability of the close substitute. If good with close substitute tend to have more elastic. If there is a close substitute available, then it will be the more elastic. Like I'm giving example, if tea and coffee are easily substitute to each other, if there is a increase in price of the tea, then automatically the assuming the price of coffee will be fixed. If there is an increase in the tea price, then coffee price will be the fixed according to the tea price. Okay, so that is the availability of close substitute. Now we are going to discuss about the necessity versus luxuries. Necessity tend to have like inelastic demand. What is the necessity? Necessity is the inelastic. So necessity is the always in inelastic demand, where luxury have the elastic demand. Luxury is always in the elastic demand. Okay, when the price of visit to the doctor rises, people will not dramatically alter the number of times they go to the doctor. Like in this COVID situation, we are seeing that now people are not going to the doctors. So that is the necessity. It's an inelastic condition. By contrast, when the price of television rises, the quantity of television demand falls subsequently. If TV price will increase, so demand will be decrease. This because this is a luxury item, so the luxury item there is a inelastic demand. Okay, so reason the most people view doctor visit as a necessary and television as a luxury. Now time horizon. Goods like goods tend to have more elastic demand over longer time horizon. Like time horizon is the another aspect of the demand and supply curve. Time horizon, what is a time horizon? Time horizon is the like longer when the price of petrol rise, the quantity of petrol demand falls only slightly in few months. Like if the petrol price is rising in the market, then the demand will be fall, then people will go to the less consumption of the petrol. So elasticity is a concept used in the economy to find responsiveness of the variable with respect to changes in the another variable. So it is measured by taking a ratio of relative change in one variable with respect to the another. That is called the elasticity in the market. Okay, now like elasticity of supply and its determinant. Now we are discussing about the elasticity of supply. So supply, what is the supply? So elasticity of supply will be the percentage of the quantity and percentage of the change in the price. Change in the price, same, elasticity is the same definition, change in the price. Okay, the price of elasticity of supply depends on the flexibility of the sellers to change the amount of goods they produce. Okay, so supply for a good is said to be elastic if the quantity supplied responds substantially to change in the price. So supply is said to be the inelastic in the quantity supplied respond only slightly change in the price. Like if there is a quantity of the particular product is increased, then change in the price will be there. So in most market, key determinant of the price elasticity of supply is the time period being considered. Like time period is very important for that. Okay, so this is whole definition of the demand and supply in the market today. Like this definition, like why did OPEC fail to keep the price of oil high? One example like I'm discussing here. Why did, like elasticity can be better understood through the following real world case study. So there is one case study is there, like why did OPEC fail to keep the price of high oil? So OPEC like always trying to what, OPEC trying to keep the oil prices should be like balance. Okay, so many of the most disruptive event for the world economy over past like several decades, what, like member of organization and petroleum exporting country, member of organization and petroleum exporting countries are there, and these countries accomplished his goal for jointly reducing the amount of oil they supplied. So from 1970s like 3 to price of oil rose more than 50%. Okay, so more than 50% they rose the price of the oil from 1979 to 1981. And then a few years later OPEC did the some things again, like 1979 to 1981 the price of oil approximately doubled and measures to $2004. Okay, the price of crude oil reached 91 per barrel. What was the price of the that like 91 per barrel? The price of oil was the 91 barrel per unit was the 91 barrel. Okay, and price of gasoline was 3 per gallon. 3 per gallon. So how they was controlling the market in that period while using the demand and supply curve. Yet OPEC found it difficult to maintain high price. In from 1982 to 1985 the price of oil steadily declined by 10% per year. And then OPEC country like what they did, then again they plunked the price 45%. They increased the price. Like OPEC member completely broke down because of there was lots of uncertainty in the market, like overall inflation. They wanted to adjust the inflation. That's why the price of oil rose again, and driven the part by increased demand from a large and rapidly growing Chinese economy. Actually, China what want, there was a more demand for the oil and gas, so they purchased from OPEC countries. So episode was what, like the demand curve behave differently in short run and the long run. Like OPEC country behave according to the countries and according to the markets, and supply is inelastic because the quantity of known oil reserve and the capacity for the oil extraction cannot be changed quickly. So supply is always inelastic because of like what they are consuming and what reserve they are putting with themselves is changed quickly. Demand is inelastic because buying habits do not respond immediately to the change in the price. So why this is inelastic? Okay, so first of all we don't know like what kind of reserve they are putting to themselves. So the supply will be inelastic and demand will be inelastic because buying habits do not respond immediately to change in the price. Like if there is a change in the price, then we can't say like what is the buying habits of the particular economy. So that all about